is we abide. We're in sessions where the wrestling truth resides.
I just realized you were waving to the audio. We started in IWE. We started with JP and all those yahoos, and
I turned on.
And I got to go to one of your last matches that I remember being at. I don't know if it wasn't your last match, but it was your last. I think it was your last match. I'm gonna bring up a name. I apologize just now because you're gonna hate me when I say this, but Big Matt Moxie.
Yep.
Matt Mahoney, Big Moxie.
Will not touch that shit.
And by the way, guys, if you ever want to make him angry real quick, just send him a picture of something with Moxie on it. I found a boat that was called Moxie.
No,
Zach.
No. I've been to therapy now.
But that was you and Eric Johnson at Let's Wrestle.
Yeah.
And that was 2018, 2019?
That
2019.
match. I'm assuming you're specifically talking for the road, right? Or
no, it wasn't the road. That was,
Dojo.
yeah, no, it was before that. This is like the one where Eric like literally left you on the floor.
Oh yeah. When he
Then you came back after that, but this is like where you thought you were done.
Yeah. There was a lot of shit going on for me at that time. That was really not my finest moment. I mean, going through a lot. I had at that point I had really felt like wrestling was more of an obligation at that point, more than anything. It had gotten to a point where, frankly, to put it mildly, there were conversations that people didn't think that I had heard, that I was indeed in the room for. The main one being, and I quote, "Fuck Zach. He lost his job at the radio station, so he lost us our free advertising." I'm going. So
can I take a wild guess who that was?
I mean,
you don't have to say. I think I know who that is.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Wow.
But like, it was one of those things where I was just like, and my wife had started pointing out to is like, you say you love this, but you're coming home from every show absolutely miserable, and you just don't seem like you're enjoying it. You don't seem like you're having fun anymore. What is this really continuing to be worth it for you? And that the night that Eric was supposed to just beat the living hell out of me, I was actually supposed to be in the very first Let's Rumble. I was supposed to be in that match, and that was supposed to be the official death of Big Moxie. And then later in the Rumble, I was going to come out as Zach Burton, and me and Eric were going to brawl it out. That was also the night that we had that massive fucking snowstorm in Maine. Yep. And I had literally just gotten my car back after hitting the patch of black ice, so I dipped early. And obviously, you took my lumps on that and had to, work my way and pay my dues again, and do whatever I could to earn my spot back. But that was exactly what I told Randy I was going to do. I was like, I understand I disappointed you, and I understand that I lost a big opportunity here, but I don't want you to feel like the opportunities you've given me here are squandered. I love this place. This is really my home. You guys have started to really, it's picked up in a way that I haven't felt in months. But when I was informed that my spot was gone here, it hurt, because like this was the place that mattered. So that's why I busted my ass. And then one very painful clothesline from Rip Bison later.
dude, I can tell you, man, I was there for that. I remember watching that and just watching that match going, holy shit, here we go. All right.
Yeah.
And then you're starting to pick it back up right there. And of course, life happens. But
that was the thing, man. Like I'll never personally forget that match with Rip more than anything when it comes to Let's Wrestle, because when he approached me for doing the match, he had done something that I wasn't 100% used to. And JP, you'll be able to comment on this, give it our background. Everything I called, he okayed. Everything. Oh God. He, by the way, that leather strap nailed me in the face in the beginning of the match. Like, you could see it. It nailed me right in the fucking face.
No.
Like, yeah.
Oh my God. Yep.
Bastard. Oh my god.
No-sold that
There's
shit.
a clip
I had to,
somewhere.
man. I had to.
There's a clip somewhere, and I can't fucking find it. Rip chasing freaking Dalton around the arena with whipping, and I can't find the clip.
man.
I've seen it somewhere, and it's hilarious, but I can't fucking find it because I
That
was
is
there
fantastic.
because he was recording. And Rip does his normal thing of going
Yeah.
after the camera, and he's backing up, and like he's not stopping, and he
Rip
just takes
"Ah!"
off, and Dylan just takes off, like, oh shit, fuck, fucking like.
Remember, kids, Rip is going to stay in character
my
100%. So you need to not be
Oh
in
my
his
God.
way.
You want a perfect example of that? I don't know if anybody else is going to remember this or if anybody else is working security for that show, but there was a freaking show in Orono. I want to say it was like a January or February show. Absolutely freezing out. There's a dude in the second row in Daisy Dukes and cowboy boots.
Oh my
And
God.
Rip stayed in character the entire time interacting with him. And on top of that, like got this close to him with the freaking strap. And I could not believe that Rip was able to keep a straight face. Like how?
There's times you can break Rip sometimes.
Oh
but it
yeah.
has to be good. And
Yeah.
like, but there's times I've seen him just crack up and he's just like, and he'll play it like he meant to, but you can tell you got him.
Yeah.
So
I'm also fairly certain that there is still a video somewhere in my wife's multitude of files that she has. I'm still certain that there is a video of Rip Bison when he was still Tomahawk.
we don't talk about
Dancing.
that.
Okay, sorry, you're right.
It's like Bruno. We don't talk about it.
Okay, well, yeah. It's a video of him at the old Dexter venue, shucking and jiving to Poker Face
Jesus Christ.
with most of his face paint still on.
Oh my God.
Oh, my.
Oof. Oof.
We're just watching Rip Bison beat the
No,
living piss out of you.
well, there was a reason for that. Did not realize I had done it, and he had called me out on it immediately. That first shot that he threw up, I don't know why, but I sealed
You
up
covered
on
up. Yep.
And no, so I was gonna fucking take every goddamn shot he had because that's one thing. Like if I fuck up, I'm gonna acknowledge it. Oh,
And
That
so
was
are
gross.
Jason Maverick's upset.
Yeah,
Oh, I see where Jason stole it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Jason also
Abyss.
stole his
geez.
music.
Oh, the music.
Yeah.
Most of the name.
Jason Maverick is just Zach Burton 1.5.
I remember. Oh, speaking of the music, I've got to tell this story because this is funny as shit. So we were speaking of MMPW. We were sitting at MMPW, and I don't think Zach had heard Jason come out to the music yet. And all of a sudden,
I had known. I had known.
Oh, did you? Just your reaction is great because it was probably a work reaction, be like, "Son, bitch, this is my music."
Yeah, well, because me and Nick had talked about it that earlier. We were like, you know what, I think it would be really funny because he uses your old music. Like, why don't you make it a bit? I was like, sure. And plus, like,
fucking
and then he
Maverick give a shit about using his music.
Yeah. So if Zach, if you didn't know this, Kat and I come out to Sound of Madness by Shinedown.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we did first show we do it. Freaking Jason comes up, he's like, "Hey guys, so that's my music." Both of us went, "What?" He's
What?
Like, yeah, I used it at like IWE like twice.
Yeah,
Like,
I did it.
first
I
of
did
all,
it 2 times.
twice.
Like,
At IWE, that doesn't count.
It'd be like me being like, "Hey, I use shipping up to Boston. Don't use it ever again." Like,
Yeah. Somewhere Mike McCarthy's like, "Fuck you."
yeah, then I would have been like, "Yeah, never mind."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Ouch.
yeah, that's why I don't do neck breakers. I learned that. I
Lay it out
like,
with
it was,
the man. It's like a
Not
cutter.
it was it had been like no, like I had fucking no, yeah, this was just there are so many moments that I
Give
look
him
back,
a
like,
fucking reverse stunner.
I can't even look at it. I can't even look at it.
He gave
Like
him
on
a
top of
reverse
that,
stunner.
on top of that,
That's a
this was
fuck
my
you.
this was my since not having since not being booked with Let's Wrestle. This is my first match really back. So it's like first time doing anything.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Johnny Torres, who you can all see laughing in the background, just being such a shit talker, had been giving me shit the entire day because he had been hyping me up that I was going to go one-on-one with Scott Wilde that day.
Huh.
And yeah, that changed the second that Rip saw me in my gear. And,
Was this the same? Oh, was this the same tapings that was Drifter versus Scotty Wild, and Scotty did his moonsault to land on his feet, and Drifter rolled the wrong way?
I gotta be honest, I don't remember.
Oh, it was one of the tapings. So,
Oh, those ropes are loose.
it's the dojo ropes. They're 95% of the time loose.
Sorry if you can hear a freaking cat begging for something in the background. I apologize.
Love gun. Oof.
Ooh, was that the clothesline you're talking about, or is
Nope.
it this one?
Nope.
Oof.
Oof.
No, you guys know what one I'm talking about, goddamn.
Yeah. Ooh, nice lefts.
Oof.
All right.
Oh no! I thought he was going to Northern Lights here for
Ooh, there we go.
Buttons popped off my vest. Perry caught one.
Samuel Matthews is somewhere very upset right now.
Oh my god!
He's stolen all my shit. I don't know if I can hear it.
Oh, yeah. Fuck that little bitch.
Yeah, I stole all my shit from Taz, Samoa Joe, and Okada, so I can't say anything.
I stole my shit from every deathmatch wrestler that there's currently active right now.
Oh shit, I still have hair in this video.
Was he going for an angle slam there?
Oh my god!
I don't
That would've
remember
been
what
amazing.
exactly he was going for, and he literally just told me to huck him right here.
Angle slam, a Slido suplex, a backdrop suplex. There's a few things you can do out of that position.
Beautiful.
That's cool.
TKO, nice.
Glorious.
Ripper with that big cell leg. I just
I know.
died. Oh, come on, Greenleaf. That was 3.
Greenleaf
Greeny.
can't count as always.
Per usual, nothing.
Oh my god, it's fucking Kirby. I haven't seen him forever.
Kirby
Yeah.
Wackerman.
I miss Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
Kirby Wackerman, fun fact, is one of the most sent memes in my Discord server. So it's totally because my brain is fucking weird. So right before this is the one. This is the
Oh yeah, this one.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
died. You see me in the background, like, oh, he died.
He did.
He did. I think I saw those jeans too.
I literally
Wow! No, that's where you should have kept it.
Did you
Uh,
see him? Look.
It's the Seth Rollins
Oh
face.
my god.
It's
so
Yeah.
Dad.
It's the same. I think that's the same look that Rip had when Eric clotheslined me out of my shoes. Or it's very close anyway. It's very close.
oh my god.
Good.
Uh,
That's so good.
So we go from
Can't
Big
remember what I'm
Moxie.
saying.
We go from Big Moxie to Zach Burton. What were the usually Levi's here to do all this? I'm just making it up as I go. What were the big influences for Zach Burton?
Well, the thing was, I wanted to do something different, and like I truthfully, like by the time that I had done everything that I had felt like I'd done everything I could with Big Moxie, like even like respectfully, when even IWE management is getting bored of it,
Yeah.
the sign that something needs to change. So I wanted to do something different, and I always wanted to do like some kind of darker, more psychological gimmick. And that's what I was originally going to do. And unfortunately, the only like real chance I got to show it off in promos was when I did my promo for my rematch against Eric for Pandemic at the Dojo.
Yeah.
To kind of to show off like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to think what the show name was. It wasn't Pandemic the Dojo 2. We had another name for it. And I just can't think of what it is right offhand.
Pandemic of the Dojo was the one right before the road.
Well, no, we did that. Then we went into the road, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was Pandemic at the Dojo, and then the road, and me and Eric had those 2 matches
The
together.
deserted dojo match. Fucking great match.
Oh my god.
The mist is still on the ceiling.
The what?
The mist is still on the ceiling.
Eric's green mist is still on the ceiling at the dojo.
That's
still
Every now and then
ceiling.
Randy looks up at it and it's like, motherfucker.
But no, like I will always hold both of those matches with Eric in such a special place in my heart, because like, and I mean, I've told Eric this in personal conversations. I'll say it a million times over. I hold so much respect for Eric. He really did a lot for me in terms of keeping me going with wrestling for a long time. I honestly thought that when IWE had purchased MEW, again, because of things that I was told and because I was a young and
The
stupid.
original MEW,
Yeah.
not the one that currently
Yeah.
runs.
Yeah, there's a current one now. This is old school. Yes.
There's an
some
old
confusion.
Yeah.
But yeah, like because of things that I had been informed of, I didn't think Eric was going to want to keep me on as a student, but pleasantly surprised he did keep me on. And, I do owe a lot of what I was able to do, to Eric. And I remember when Randy had actually approached me about Let's Wrestle in the first place, he said, who are some of the people you want to work with? First name I said was Eric Johnson.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I was the only person in our training class who had not gotten a one-on-one match with him. I was the only one because they never.
My one-on-one with him wasn't even in IW. It was literally in Global.
Yeah. So I wanted to do something special with that, and thankfully we actually got that with Pandemic at the Dojo, and those matches were so much fun. Not to mention the look that all y'all had when he dropped me on my head in that first match.
Oh, that's right. He hit the Johnson special. Dude, I bobbleheaded when I did. I was like, things that
Jesus.
it was one of people are like, "Can you take this?" I'm like, "Yes." Not as well as I intended to. Holy lag, Batman! Lag. Are we in a temporal displacement here? There we go. Oh, he did the red mist.
And I love how he's still wearing his freaking Italian singlet under all of this.
Yep.
Oh my god! Oh, shoulder,
Gross.
Oh,
shoulder, dude.
Ethan Scott is a whore.
One of my favorite Ethan Scott moments has to be the ultimate Ethan Scott.
Oh my god, that was that match was great. That match was so great. Like I couldn't not have been blessed more with better people to be in that match with, because everybody in there made sure I was taken care of and everything went smoothly. Like that stunner I did to Brett, I've only done 2 stunners. Once to Eric and once to Brett. And the Brett one blows the first one out of the water because it was so smooth and just quick and fluid. I love watching that clip because I'm like, that's the coolest thing I've ever done was that fucking stunner.
Sorry, I'm still trying to find. I'm trying to remember what season of the road it was on. I'm going through each one. I'm where the fuck is it? I know it's
on YouTube. If you look up Eric Johnson versus Love Dog, I'm the bonus at the very end. Because Love Dog was number 12. Funny enough, I'm number 13. I was in the first Let's Rumble. I'm also entrant number 13 because 13 is my lucky number, or it's guess unlucky because anytime it gets brought up in wrestling.
Lucky. Maybe it's your lucky number outside of wrestling, but maybe you should avoid the number 13.
I was 13 when I got the Tommy Dreamer shirt, and that's why I've always liked the number 13.
Or just make it your gimmick. Just have 13 all over yourself.
I wanted to get
all right there, Kaz.
Good God, the fucking I didn't have my goatee. My hair was wicked short.
This was
3 years ago.
4 years ago.
Oh my God!
4 years ago.
My God.
The uncrowned, limitless.
So
I missed that venue.
So I'm actually sitting in the building right now. I'm sitting over by the table, where Cora sat, with Dave Dyer.
Wants to be number 4.
I was in the middle of taking a shit, and I came back, and I was wondering why everybody was freaking out, and then I saw, oh my God, Ethan's in the ring!
I was in the middle of taking the most massive shit of my life, and then I came out, and Ethan was in the ring, and I was like,
I was wondering why everyone's popping. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I look like, oh, Ethan's taking on Eric Johnson. Holy shit!
He was like 5
Look at
minutes
Davey S reaction kills me every time.
5 minutes behind everyone else.
Like you'll see me in the corner soon, like I'm like, what the fuck?
You bitch, son of a bitch! God damn it, Chris.
Stop raining into Eric Johnson.
There's Jess.
There's Jess. There's Tyree Taylor. Oh my God.
I haven't seen Tyree forever.
I still have that. Well, obviously I saw that singlet because I wore it during the tag.
Another good match. Fuck you, fat boy.
CJ Cruz in the background.
Yeah.
Dude, CJ was so into this match.
CJ, Alexander Lee, and Tyree Taylor, if you look at them, they're fucking hilarious.
You gotta make that.
There I'm in the corner, right there, like, oh, this is happening.
I want that as my sub sound on Twitch.
Oh no!
Ethan Scott just dropped with that clothesline.
Oh, that Eric Larry down the corner sucks.
You know what?
I don't know. That one seemed nice. I've seen it. I've felt it suck before. That one seemed a
That's what I'm
little
saying.
nice.
It can suck.
I was terrified to take this at first, but then once it got explained,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I explained it to you. I was like, I'm taking it.
It's no different than taking a power slam. He just sits out with it.
And yeah, it's over.
Wow. Fun fact, even though everybody probably didn't know, probably didn't watch us, I'm the only one that's ever kicked out of that.
Oh.
I kicked out of it in the
Deserted Dojo?
Yeah, Desert Dojo match.
Nice.
that was
You're sure you're the only person that's ever kicked out of it?
Well, that's why I'm the only person that I ever kicked out of it, because nobody fucking knows about that match.
that match was wild.
That
Like,
match
I-
was
I-
wild.
When he got you up for it, I was scared because I'm like, that's a lot of big cat up in the air on Eric's shoulders and drops.
Dude, I
it.
love
Oh,
when
the
you wrestle
Dominator?
Eric.
Or the
Oh yeah, the dominant. Oh my god, the
I love when you
Dominator.
wrestle Eric for that exact reason, because you guys go like big man, but then there's always that one spot where he lifts you, like the crown. You guys stole the crown show and you were opening
God.
fucking match. The
That was-
crown match when you were up on the buckle and he fucking walked over and grabbed you and walked out with the Dominator. The whole locker room erupted because you got dropped so nicely with the Dominator. We were all like, "What the fuck?"
Was that the show we took on Hyper Pretend?
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
first crown, my first and only
Yeah.
crown show.
Yeah, that match was so and still so fucking funny. Yeah, like I didn't know how great it was until I came out back where you guys talking about it. Like I felt it was doing good, but like how everyone in the locker room was on their feet, like going like, "Oh shit, that
No,
was
it was
fucking
so
awesome!"
good,
Dude, Eric coming back through the curtain goes, "Follow that, bitches!"
He literally did. He walked back and he was like, "Follow that, bitches!" And they just walked over and started taking his shit off, and we were all
Dude.
like, "Fuck."
I've always said it this way: if you could go back into the locker room after your match and the boys are looking at you going, either you're fucking insane or that was fucking great, you know you did something good. In fact, Levi and I can attest to this. The entire New York crew looked at us and went, "You guys are fucking idiots."
No,
that
it
was
wasn't
awesome.
just the New York crew. It was everybody. We
Yeah.
took the concrete suplex and walked out back, and fucking everybody that walked over to us was like, "You are fucking insane." But that was cool.
The Let's match with the
Yes,
you and
that
you
was
and
cool.
yeah,
Oh my god,
that was
Our
fucking
first-
stupid.
our first
I
match.
looked at you guys and said that was fucking
Our first
stupid.
match, by the time we got back, everybody that walked by us looked at us and was like, "That was fucking stupid," but that was cool, and then just left. Randy was even like, "That match was real. That match was good. Minus the concrete suplex, there was no fucking reason for that." He was like, "But it was so cool."
That was Amber and Jossie. That was their call.
Oh,
You and
yeah,
I were
look at
like,
this. If you've never
Purr?
seen this,
I think I have seen this.
bang!
Bro.
No, the ref even jumped for it. I love that little touch.
It was so good, dude.
You speak of your valor, you speak of your Sauron 316. Well, Gandalf 316 says you shall not pass.
So again, this is a very adult content leaning roast, and for those who don't know what a roast is, it's supposed to be jokes of the people that's on
It's
the
like
panel.
inside jokes. Yeah.
Well, inside jokes, it's not
With
supposed to be
culture.
hateful,
Yeah.
but people get upset and everything like that, which is what exactly happened with Paul Heyman and Gabriel Iglesias. Paul Heyman said a bunch of fucking dark shit to everybody on the panel.
And you know he meant it because
And
of what he
meant
said
it.
at the Pat McAfee show the next day.
Yeah, which is also what I got too as well. So he's saying all this shit. I got exactly what he said to Gabriel. Gabriel's pissed, gets up, cuts it on Paul Heyman, just basically saying who nobody cheered for anybody but me when it came out. The clip ends, but there was a continuation of it where Paul tried to talk again, and Gabriel kept on butting in to where Paul just looks at him and goes, "Can I finish, please?" Like it's just trying to continue the show. But Gabriel Iglesias was extremely pissed. Oh, is that Alexander Lee?
Alexander Lee's in the chat.
Yeah. We got to get you
Oh
on the show, buddy.
Oh boy, Dad's in the chat.
We need Dad on the pod.
Yes, we do. We do.
We're
need
working
Dad
on
the
it. We've been
pod.
working on it.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun
awfully
episode.
busy, which is hilarious. He's on now, so we could just fucking throw.
Right? Yeah, that's just. He's probably at work, like probably.
Yeah,
working.
he's just working like it.
That's how to get the pod.
He's
That's
just
how
gonna
the
he's gonna put the camera up right above his station and just continue working while
keep
he's
working.
Like,
That's probably what the pod's gonna end up being, is him working while
exactly.
answering questions.
And they're sitting there stirring crab in a bowl, like that sucks. I heard that roast meeting was a train wreck. Yes. It was.
So the main event was the train wreck as well with the fucking roast. It was bad. So,
it was between Heyman and Fluffy, right?
Yeah. So that was bad, and then like I said, the main event for fucking 40 for night 2 was fucking a tremendous.
But
as well.
here's but you do realize, like, in a way, why it was the way it was,
because
it was. I mean, it was built. Okay, so
the match was garbage purposely.
I'd have been perfectly fine with the match being the way it was. Travis Scott didn't come out. I wanted Cody to punch him in the face so
The
badly.
Rock should have been.
You should have receded.
The Rock should have come out. Yes.
Okay, we'll come back out to we'll come back to this. I want to get to the fucking roast.
We're going in so many.
We're going in circles. Let's.
And your whole fucking family, right? I mean, you're sitting there just sucking the maggot goo out of Tony's fucking dick, dribbling it all over yourself, and sucking his ass. You can be up here in front of wrestling fans, but you can't sell out the fucking joint unless you're back riding on Tony fucking Hinchcliffe, who back rides on Joe fucking Rogan.
Wow. Yeah.
You can see why they cut this.
An old ECW leather jacket, never coming out of the closet again.
Was Paul Heyman pissed?
Is this a shoot?
Paul Heyman doesn't give a shit.
He really doesn't.
This video has been taken down, Mike.
Yep.
Tonight we have heard stories and told stories about some of the most amazing superstars in this business we call professional wrestling. But out of all of them, Paul, out of everyone you heard tonight, the crowd only cheered and chanted one fucking name.
I wonder how drunk Fluffy was, bro.
Oh, probably very.
Because have you seen his sets?
Yeah, he gets hammered. Yeah.
He gets shit.
They didn't chant anybody else up here tonight but this one fluffy Mexican.
So
wow.
So yeah. So
This was the next day, right?
This was the next day, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah. And speaking of that, by the way, like there's a video I went around that showed him fucking puking on stage.
Oh,
and he
Fluffy?
just turns to the crowd. Yeah, and he turns to the crowd and goes, "If that goes on YouTube, I'm gonna be pissed." Like
YouTube 30 seconds later.
Literally
Yeah,
30 seconds later,
exactly.
we uploaded
So
it.
this is Paul Heyman on Pat McAfee's show. This is
We'll talk about
I
it later.
believe. So I think the roast was night 1, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was the end of night 2. Or no, this was 21. Yeah, no, it was night 1 because
I think it was the end of night 1.
This was probably less than 12 hours after. After it.
So Pat McAfee did his show live at WrestleMania. He had John Cena, and I think he had a few other guests as well.
Yeah.
And he had Paul, and this situation came up about the roast.
God, you'd think you think the Miz would get pissed at me? No, Miz laughing his ass off. You think Braun Strowman Literally, Braun Strowman goes up there crying that he's not on WrestleMania, and I tell him straight to his face, he's not on WrestleMania because he sucks. And did he get mad at me? Nope, he's rolling with the punches. You'd think Tony Hinchcliffe would get mad at me because I totally upstaged him on his own show and proved that it should be the Paul Heyman roast of WrestleMania, not the Tony Hinchcliffe roast of WrestleMania. Think he'd get mad at me? No. Who gets mad at me? A professional roaster. A guy that makes his living telling jokes on panels, a guy that makes a living doing roasts is the one guy that gets mad at me and wants to fight me on stage.
He was sitting directly next to me. And it was quite a scene.
And not only is he the one guy that wanted to fight me on the stage, he's the one guy whose ass I guarantee you I could kick.
Oh, hell
Coming
yeah.
from
I didn't know
Paul,
you were
that's
sizing up
wild.
a potential fight out there.
Well, when Fluffy walks in a room, how'd he do anything but size his fat ass up?
All right.
Shots fired. Shots
Dude.
fired. So
when are we getting Fluffy versus Heyman? For
yeah,
WrestleMania?
exactly.
Next WrestleMania.
Is this a work? Is this what?
Is this a work? That was
It's
not
next-
a work.
Next year at Mania, Fluffy versus Heyman.
And credit to Fluffy though, he is not a roast comic. He's just a regular comic. His
he's a
content
regular
is a lot of more PG related. Sometimes it goes into PG 13.
Yeah, he
but
can
he
pull out
doesn't do roasts for a living, shit
No,
like
no,
that. So
Tony does.
Tony does, which is I think it would have been better if we got Tony. Sorry, no offense to Fluffy, he's not on the panel. Had Burt Kreischer and maybe even like
I think the whole episode should have just been a kill Tony up. Like
Or
honestly,
even that.
then it would have just been a normal episode. Heart medication.
Heart medication. Fluffy has been on Kill Tony a few times. Oh, he has.
Oh
I
yeah,
did not
that's
know
right.
that.
He has.
I did not
I
know
probably
he's
haven't
actually has
watched
been on
it.
Kill Tony.
I was
haven't
actually
watched
listening.
it,
Speaking of Fluffy, I was actually listening to him on Chris Van Vliet not too long ago. I got to finish up that episode probably tomorrow.
This must have been before
something.
this past weekend.
Yeah, must have been.
Yeah.
Imagine that interview.
Why would you do that?
First things first, I have to start off by saying, Levi.
Hey, bud.
You're a piece of shit for mentioning me getting kicked in the face by Alec. I'm trying to live.
Okay. I'm not the one that brings it up.
You brought it up. Don't you pull this bullshit. You did.
No. I don't
You
bring
brought
that
it
up. I don't bring that up.
I'll pull
I
up the
just
fucking
remember
clip.
it fondly.
I'll pull up the fucking clip. You brought it up.
No, it's probably one of the most embarrassing moments to happen to me, and I told Randy this right off the bat. I told him if you ever bring Lindsay back, I'm sick that day.
Do you mind talking about that? What was supposed to happen? What accidentally happened, or you just want to like get away from your brain forever type thing?
Well, if I might as well talk about it. This will be the last time I ever talk about it ever again. So what happened is somebody they were like, hey, we have this spot for the match, and nobody they said just run in when Lindsay loses his mask, and I had been drinking that night, Jack and Cokes. Anyone ever wants to buy me a drink?
There we go.
But no, I'd been drinking, and for some reason in my drunk brain, I didn't think after the match. I thought right when he loses his mask. So So my drunk ass ran up there and proceeded to get kicked squarely in the face. And it was the worst moment I've ever had running crew on a show.
Hey, accidents happen. It's totally understandable. You know, I know a lot of times that shit's been called, especially with like old vacation land, and nobody like shit then changes, and then they don't communicate with everybody else. So everyone's like, "What the fuck are we doing? Are we going? What are we doing? Are we doing this? What's going on?
What is happening?"
I've got RBG on my PC, and I thought there was a way to turn it off because I realized
Big country saying hi right there.
Yeah.
My new setup. It's getting picked up in my camera, and it was really bugging me. But I don't think I can shut it off. So I was just cycling colors.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but luckily for me, like I was able to take a few months off from Limitless shows because I had drill the same day.
But Alec kind of saved the spot because it was like on the stream end. It kind of was like, oh, you're coming into like, oh, I'm trying to like protect his face, whatever, and then Alex super kicks you in the face to get you out of the way, and then
yeah, I mean, in the long run, because Alec was turning heel anyway, it ended up working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it ended up working. It's just I got a lot of heat backstage, as I rightfully should have. But I know everybody was heated at that moment. I was heated with myself at that moment. It was a bad day at the office, and that's about the last thing I'll fucking say on that.
Why is it so watery?
Anyhow, to continue on with the street, like one of the memorable moments I remember, my shit was getting noticed so much that I was like, I want, like, just by the workers, not just the fans. I was like, I want to do something special, and that's why I pulled in the Ethan story, because no one was doing promos. No one. What?
Favorite part of the streak. That
Dude,
was so awesome.
And that was a shoot. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you go to the Love, it's on YouTube. You have to look up me versus Love Dog, and it's the snippet at the end. Which I don't understand why it never got to be separate, but that's how we tied it in. We wanted to keep it secret because we wanted to work the boys. We worked everybody on that angle. So everybody remembers my promos. They're always
4 of us knew. 4.
That's it. Just 4 people, maybe 5. I remember because we had to tell Pigpen. Obviously, Randy knew. I knew. Ethan knew, and I think Dylan Nix.
I knew. I just happened to be there when you guys were talking about it. That's the only reason I knew.
So we worked a spot. What it was is I was like, no one like doing promos. I never understood that. I'm like, you realize the reason why half the streak happened and why it was so good is I kept cutting promos about it because I kept wanting to face the champ, which at the time was AG, and then he leaves. And I wanted to be in the title picture, and I'm beating all these people, but no one's giving me a shot. And then they're like, "Oh, well, you're not beating the right people." Well, and then I start beating the right people, and I'm still not getting a shot. So, like, that was my story. And Ethan's, I'm kind of like bullying him because he's the only member of the staff that's giving me any responses because he's interviewing me every time. So I'm picking on him. I'm bullying him. I'm getting pissed. Well, right at the end of the Love Dog match, we're going to shoot this on the fly. And I pitched it to Randy. And Randy's like, I fucking love it. I was like, don't tell nobody. Don't tell anybody. I was like, the only people we got to tell are you and Pigpen because you got to run the cameras. Everybody else. And I was pissing off some of the boys with my shit. I can't remember the dude's name. Spazmaniac, something like that. He came up with Katie Arquette.
Yeah, they were dating at that time. I don't know if they still are.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember I was cutting a promo and it was like super serious, and he didn't know the story. This is like he's randomly coming up because he just wants Randy to see him and get work. And I think he pretty much is there because Katie Arquette's there, and I think Randy wanted to use Katie Arquette because of her name and all that shit, her name value and all that. Anyway, which is very little, but it was something. It was something different. Randy likes things that are different. And I respected that idea, but he came up and he's like, "Oh, can you not yell and swear so much in your promo?" I'm like, I looked at him like, who the fuck are you? I looked at him like, who the fuck are you? Are you cutting a promo? You gonna cut any promos? I might. That was his, I might. I'm like, well, doesn't look like you got any camera time. It must mean you're not important. And I walked away.
Shit.
I didn't talk to him the entire time I was there after that. I shook his hand out of respect, and I was like, yeah, whatever. He's like, boy. I'm like, whatever. I was like, who the fuck are you? I love it when people come up from nowhere and they're hoping they think they're great. And then Randy sees them and then Randy's like, you're average.
Yep.
Randy knows talent. He sees plenty of it. He knows who's willing to bust their ass for it. And at the time, I was busting my ass, and that wasn't just about me.
Yeah.
I unwillingly told people a story without them knowing it with me and Ethan, leading up to that match with me and Ethan. And I don't know if you have that on standby with me, the Love Dog.
I have it on standby right now.
Okay, so watch the boys' reaction. Because literally, I told Ethan what I needed. He brought his wrestling singer from when he was training with me because he trained to be a wrestler, and I knew he could do these spots. These were simple shit. I told him, wear your wrestling shoes that day, wear it underneath your thing. So when you're taking the clothes off, people see the singlet underneath. And like, no way is he going to do this because I'm running my mouth. I'm calling people out. Go for it. Play it up. This is some awesome shit. This is natural reaction from people because they didn't know this match was going to happen.
Mortar's face. Oh my god! At the end of this.
Oh, come on now, leave him alone.
Yeah, this is like
The whole back second with Tyree it's Tyree over there. Mortar. You'll see Ben come. You see people come out from behind, out back, and come watch it because they're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It was me. I was one of them.
Yeah, because it looked like we were shooting a match on the fly, and we did.
I was sitting over at the table with Dave.
What does he mean by
Dave's
that?
like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Watch." All I said was watch.
To win your love, I'm here to win matches. And you show I should be the uncrowned.
See, I'm the taco, but AG had left, and there's no champion right now. I want the fucking belt. That's the story. I've gotten defeated, and yet I don't get a chance.
Which one of you a-holes wants to be number 4? Wait a second.
Let's wait for the fans' reaction here. Wait for the boys.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Ethan Scott has a singlet on.
Yeah, everybody's on there.
Look at the people that are like, "Oh, this is fucking great," because this is shot on the fly. Watch for the pop for the fast press.
You gotta be kidding me! Nice push from Ethan Scott! The shot's raining into
Everyone's going nuts.
Everybody's on their
The
feet.
bell is sounded! This match is official!
Watch for the pop from the kick out. Watch the people.
Only 2!
Awesome. Fucking crowd. Look at everybody standing. They can't believe what they're watching because this is all we worked everybody. It's not done yet. Keep going, bro. Keep going. It gets better. Wait for the fucking kick out on the stunner.
Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Hold on.
You're good. Keep it running. It's fine. Right where it's at. It's fine.
Good roll up.
See, everybody's standing and counting. Like, we worked everybody. This is great.
After weeks of torment from
I knew what was going on. And I was still
Watch
into it.
this. Here comes a big pop.
Fuck you, Eric.
He nails a stunner!
Watch for the pop and the kick out.
Scott miracle!
Yeah,
I thought Mortar and Ben and Tyree in the back. They're like, what the?
Ethan Scott!
I see the great show that's
Literally
Mortar.
putting his name in the history books here on the road. He's been training in the Limitless Wrestling Dojo.
Watch for the pop here when I take his head
An
out.
opportunity like this.
Even Dad was just.
Oh no!
The infamous fucking clothesline right there. One clothesline a match. One.
He hasn't moved a muscle.
Only one I throw.
That's all.
You know what?
That's all it took.
It's on your head. No, come on.
They're
now.
like, no. The reaction, this is pure natural reaction because nobody knew it was happening.
Oh, come on now.
The only people that knew were Randy, Pink Ben, Bill, and Nick, myself. And obviously the man I just hit with the Johnson special.
Placing his knee across the chest.
The fact that.
And yeah, it's over.
Natural. See, they all wanted me to lose.
Yeah.
That's natural reaction. They also, I think, from a lot of it, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I think a lot of them really did want me to lose. A lot of them hated the streak because it wasn't them doing it. I did it unintentionally. This all shit has happened by accident because I was getting the best out of people, and I was like, no one wants to cut promos. I'll do one, and I'll tie everything in and make a story. That's why you see all those. If you watch the road, weeks of build up with me and Ethan doing these promos, and no one's giving me a title shot. No one answers my response. Ethan's the only member of the staff there, so I take it out on him. I bully him, lead it up to that. Bam.
That's the only reason why I wanted him to beat you was that because like seeing those promos, I'm like, oh, I really hope
unintentional build up, and you've watched it happen. So from a viewer's perspective, it's great. The boys. By the time that ended, that was like I think the last match of that season that I had.
Yeah.
Before we got to the next one. By the next one, people were still looking forward to the matches. I was starting to have, like I said, more competitive matches with other guys that were more competitive. I wasn't wrestling as many students because I also told Randy, I was like, I got to start wrestling other guys. But the problem was, I think I generated so much heat from doing that angle That a lot of, like, I had people that were volunteering to work me, and I also had people that didn't want to work me. So
and I'm still.
I don't think Randy knows that, but I know that. So
I like I said, I'm still of this mindset that where I'm like, everyone's like, oh, we don't want to work this, but I'm like, I'll work. Come on, I don't care. Let's go.
Right.
I'd rather work a match, and especially if it's something I haven't worked before, work it, and you learn something from that. You may learn, hey, this works, this doesn't. Then be like, no, I don't want to work that guy.
So I'll explain how things changed. So we did all those tapings, and then of course COVID's all done, so there's no need for doing any more tapings. But we really didn't have any venues because we lost the Orono venue because, God rest his soul, the person who got us the venue passed away.
Yeah.
And he was a good man. He used to love the shows. He used to love the people watching people, even when we did the live shows. Loved him. So we lost that. I got us into Ronco's, which I used to run IWE out of there when it was a timeout. I did a couple shows there.
Ronco's was fun.
But Ronco's is limited. And at the end of the day, they kept telling us they weren't making enough money. And that's because I told them, well, maybe if you stop pulling our bartender from the event room to downstairs,
yeah,
we wouldn't have that problem, because people would be looking for drinks and food and there's no one to order from because they wouldn't be upstairs. Well, that last show we did was also the last month they were open.
Yep.
And they were literally not going to let us have the show because they weren't making enough money. And they held us up for $300 to have that last Ronco show.
Not only did like we pay them to rent there, 90% of us went downstairs after the show.
You ordered food and food. Yeah.
I'm sure they got money out of us, enough money out of us.
Plus the 100 people that were there.
We had so
we were at the end of COVID times, but they were still the restrictions.
Yeah.
So they were making plenty of money. They were just money hungry, and they knew they were losing the venue.
Just from the boys,
So I think that last
of us.
we were getting the venue for free.
So many people there.
The building was for free. The building was free until that last show that we did, which is the one that Alex Chamberlain was on because he was having to be up here when he was.
Yeah.
And we got him. We just let him work while he was up here. But like, that show almost didn't happen because they weren't going to let it happen because they didn't want to. They wanted something for the room, and that's when I knew the writing was on the wall. And they're like, well, $300, we'll do it. Because they originally said $5. I said, that's not cost effective. I'm not doing it. I said, well, you take 2. And they said, give us 3. And Randy and I agreed because I helped get the shows happening. Randy said they wouldn't pay any more than that for that room. He also wanted the show just to happen because we already started advertising it.
Yeah.
So
like, just get it done.
So during the Ronco's bit, obviously we kept the streak going. We had the angle with me and Ace, which was super hot fire. The matches were great.
Mm-hmm.
People loved it, and we had natural chemistry because I've known Ace forever, and I, helped him give him some of his breakup here in Maine because other than Super Lucha Explosiva, he wasn't doing anything. Well, we come to the Morgan Hill show, and I told Randy at that time it was make or break. Like, we got to do something with the streak. I either got to win and get a shot and go down to Yarmouth and like to where the big shows, because he was still doing Yarmouth shows even though they were closed tapings.
Yeah.
He never stopped. So Yarmouth never stopped.
Nope.
And at this point, COVID's almost over, and we're trying to we're doing Morgan Hill as one of our big first pop offs after everything, all the restrictions are finally gone. And I was like, okay, well, and at that point, I've been losing weight. I was in great shape. I think I was peak Eric Johnson during the streak. Like the heel Eric Johnson was there right at that moment. Me versus Ace. Peak. I lost weight, great shape, feeling good, moving the best. I could go. And I was trying to go down to Yarmouth, to be real with you. I wanted to work competitively against people. And I thought my matches with Ace and shit at Ronco should have proved that. And then I went nowhere because this is what I was told. I was talking to Randy about it at the time. Ace was going to win the belt. AG was gone. So a lot of because he was in WWE at the time.
He had that wrestler's curse.
Yeah, so all the guys that were built up were leaving, so they left Ace, and Ace was going to finally get the belt. So he figured he was going to use him ending the streak as the piggyback to him getting the belt, and I said that makes sense.
Storyline, yeah.
So that's what I was told. And I also was told that eventually I'd get a chance down in Yarmouth, which never happened. But anyway. This is where it gets frustrating. So I was told I'm putting over Ace. He's beating the streak. He's going to win the belt. Okay, that's why I'm finally losing. Ace shows up to this venue. First off, he's sick. He's getting over the flu and has no initiative. He feels like garbage. I understood it. So I tried pitching shit to him, tried to come up with stuff. He had a couple ideas. So we put everything together that we could, the best we could, with how he was feeling and what he did and didn't want to do and what I did want to do. And I'm down to whatever because I'm just trying to get this match to be the best match possible because I'm losing.
Yeah.
But Ace is sick. So it's him. If you watch most of the match, it's him beating the shit out of me mostly. And a couple big spots where he takes the big spots. Like, I hit him in the head with the tag bat and things. There's a couple big spots he takes, but if you watch a lot of it, it's me getting my ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
That's because he felt like shit. Okay, cool. We needed a door for the finish because we said, okay, well, this is the last man standing. So the best way to do this is if we both fall off the apron somehow through this fucking table or door on the floor. And then we Rocky Balboa the ending. Full on Apollo Creed, Rocky Balboa, both trying to pull yourselves up, and one pulls himself into the ring, one stays on and falls down on the floor, and that's how you call it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can make this work. And I thought we could make it work. And then we saw what the fucking door was. And that's not one of those cheap bathroom doors or bedroom doors. It's one of those fucking doors you have on your back door of your house.
Was it not an interior door?
No. Go back and find the video. It's online. It's a big ass fucking door.
I have the video, yeah.
Go look at the door.
Like, as someone that has always bought interior doors when they do those spots,
It's
like,
a big ass door. Look at that thing.
I just thought it was just a regular interior.
No, supposedly Randy had this door at his house. It was a spare door. And he thought because me and Ace were big enough, we'd break it. Not in theory, I think if we'd scorched the underside, we probably could have somehow. But
Right.
we didn't know this was the door for the table.
But it flipped.
Yeah, well, that's because we had to put it on chairs, so we had to have everything else. And the chairs have grommets on the bottom, which allowed them to slide.
Yeah.
Also, it's one of those doors that it's an outdoor door, so it has a filament on it, like that shiny filament shit.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a full
So, Ace is beating the shit out of me this entire match, and Dave, respectively. Pause it for a second. He's beating the both out of us. I'm giving you this perspective before we get to the door spot. See how it's an outdoor door. Look at you can see the 4 little spaces. See the little 4 squares?
That is definitely an exterior door.
Yeah.
So we're working with what we got. Ace had brought some shit, and I had brought some shit, and we're working with whatever we could find at the dojo. That's why it's last man standing. We put together, I thought, the best considering he's getting over the flu. He still kind of has it. He feels like shit. That's why I said I took a brunt of the abuse. If you watch the match back, I got my ass handed to me. And I'll give it to Ace. He took some big spots for me to make me look good too.
This could look like an interior door, though, from certain perspectives, but I totally understand like what you're saying.
Now you're seeing it. You're like, oh yeah, that's definitely not a normal interior door.
Because like you go look at any of my matches that I've used doors.
The door's flat.
Exactly the same. But like I understand.
Yeah, the doors are like an interior bathroom door is completely flat, other than the knob hole.
Right.
This is a thick exterior door with the filament on it.
Right.
Like the shiny stuff. Anyway, so we're at this point, and we thought, okay, maybe we could break it because we're both big. And I told him like, well, how are we gonna do this? We're gonna both fall through it. And he's like, no. He's like, let me fucking figure something out. Because he originally thought maybe he could pounce me through it, but how is he gonna both of us gonna land on it? I said, just fucking spear me through it then. And he goes, fuck it. He's like, I'll come through the ropes, I'll spear you, we'll both go through it. And I said, all right. Which means I'm gonna take the brunt of it because I'm landing back first. Well, the problem is, as I said, the chairs have these little rubber grommets on them because it keeps them from scuffing the floor, which makes sense. And because the filament on the door, because it's like that shiny slidey shit, the door slides off with us going through it. So we hit the floor. On top of me hitting the floor, before you hit play, here's the part we're going to say. Before we hit the floor, watch this door. It hits me in the head.
Yeah.
Continue. Now watch carefully.
Yeah.
And then you can slow-mo it afterwards.
I was gonna say I'll slow-mo it afterwards.
And it also hits a fan.
I'm standing literally right on the top end of that right there, recording it, and I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah, you
So-
don't see me in the background freaking
Yeah,
out.
and then they also show you the other angle too. I believe that's where you want to see is the other angle if they show
You
it.
see me kneeling next to Dennis, like
Yeah, I'm right over in the right hand corner.
I'm
freaking out.
concussed at this point. As I'm talking to him, I'm telling him, like, dude, my head's throbbing. I think I have a concussion. Watch my head. Bang.
Collateral damage.
Bang.
Oh my gosh.
Door popped me in the back of my head.
the door hits Alicia's husband too, which is funny.
Yeah, he was fine though. As I remember,
Yeah,
Paul
he was
Mann
fine.
watched over. Paul Mann, if you rewind, does you have a slow mo on that somehow?
Yeah. What angle? The first one?
The one when I'm falling and like right. Keep it going. Let it play.
This one right here.
Not this one. The other one. The other angle. The fork angle.
Okay.
Keep going. It's coming here in a minute when they show the replay. Slow it.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
Go into Big Cat. Go
Yeah,
to
I got it. I got it.
play back. Yeah, go like 25.
I'm gonna mute it because
Yeah, definitely mute it.
I'm going back.
Oof.
Bam.
Oh, you can
Back
see
of the
the
head.
door ripple.
Yeah.
You see that?
Oh
The
shit!
door
Go
ripples
back real
when they
quick,
hit
go
you in the
back.
head.
Yeah. It hits me in that head hard. Hard.
Like watch the edge of the door. It ripples when it hits you.
Boom, boom,
Bam.
boom.
The door warped
Jeez.
for a moment, and then it comes back when all the weight doesn't go into it.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Keep playing it slow mo. It shows another angle. You'll get a better view. Watch. He hits me. We start to go. His leg goes first. That's the problem.
He landed on the
Bam.
floor first.
Rocks my shit.
See if I can find
And at that point, I'm laying on him. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking concussed. That door just slammed in my fucking head. And you'll see me hold it. You can play it at full speed now. Watch it. Watch me. I'm holding my head the entire fucking time. I'm like, we're done. I literally just looked at him like, we're fucking done. I'm heated at this point.
Over 600 pounds. Well over
I'm fucking heated. I'm laying there like that should not happen. And I remember looking up at the fan, which is Alicia's husband, and I'm like, "You good?" He's like, "Yeah." I had Paul Mann was there. I'm gonna check on him. He got hit with the door. Ace, you see Ace was checking too to make sure that he was looking up. Like, oh, like we hit that fucking fan with the door.
Might be facing a double count. I don't think there's anything left in the tank, Johnny Torres.
I'm concussed, pissed off, and annoyed at this point. I told Ace, like, we're done, so let's get to the finish and get the fuck out of here. When I was laying on him. And nobody knew that was the finish because the door didn't break. But he's up and I'm not. So at least people reacted. So I'll tell you the next thing that I don't know if anybody who knows. Bang! Look at the force of that thing hit me in the head.
Like it's
What?
Dude,
how crazy.
dude, I'm concussed just watching that.
Yeah.
Right.
I was freaking
Yeah.
out. I was
So-
literally, I didn't see the door hit you. I thought the door slid and you guys went straight floor. That's what I saw. I thought the door kicked out and you guys smashed head first into the
It
door
looked
into
like
the
it
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not even the worst part about it. So after the match was over, so we were the main event. At this point, me and Ace's shit was main event material all through that Broncos to this. And this is the cusp of everything changing back to normal. And Ace is supposed to get his big payoff because he's going to face for the title. Cool. What about me? Right? What happens to me now?
Right.
Well, after the show, I'm downstairs. I'm fucking concussed. I'm in pain. I'm hurting. Randy comes in. I ask him, how do you feel about the matchup? He said he thought Ace beat the shit out of me too much, which I understood that because he's not lying. He did, but it's because he's sick and he has the flu. So I'm trying to cover him so he doesn't have to do a lot. Also, the table spot sucked, and I said, well, if you hadn't gotten us an outdoor table and we had an indoor table, I would have bought one. I would have bought one for $60.
I was gonna say
I appreciate him bringing the one that he had.
they were
It was
still
free.
$60. They're now like $70, $80 now.
Of course, it's gone up now, but back then they were like $60.
Right. That's why I bought Marketplace now.
So, and I said, and he's also didn't like the type of finish. And I said, well, if we'd gone through the table, it would have been a hot pop because we're both laying on the table, and then one of us lives and one of us doesn't. You know what I mean? The spot would have got paid off the right way because the table didn't break and because a fan almost got taken out by a table. And I get it. He was upset about that too. And I'm like, well, dude, that table, because it's an outdoor table and it's heavy as fuck, blasted me in the head and I have a concussion right now, guaranteed. So I was already seeing fucking stars. So I was irritated. And he was just the word he uses, he was disappointed at it. That's what got me. He said he was disappointed in the match. And I said, so in my brain, I'm concussed. I'm tired. Just got my ass beat all match covering Ace, the guy they're supposed to be making as champion. I got fell through a fucking door. It's an outdoor hard door that's supposed to fucking stand. Some of those doors stand up to fucking battering rams from police fucking cops and shit.
I mean, here in Maine, they're intended to like stand up to weather, and our weather is insane.
Correct.
So yes.
And now I have a concussion. I have to go to the hospital the next day, if not that night, which I went 2 days later because I wanted to make sure I was coherent enough to drive because no one else was going to drive me. And he says he's disappointed. I get no phone calls from Randy during that time. I'm not teaching at the dojo. I left wrestling for a giant space of time, if y'all remember. For a giant space of time, I left wrestling.
Yeah, I remember not seeing you for a while.
I was pissed off, irritated, and felt like I put a fuck ton of effort in and got nothing. Because I just put over Ace, who's going on to win the title. I literally took all my steam and gave it to somebody else, and I got nothing out of it. And every time I I pulled matches out of people that probably shouldn't be pulling matches out of, which is a lot of greenhorns. I pulled the best matches out of them possible that were more over than the fucking competitive guys that he books on a regular basis. Got nothing. Was teaching at the dojo for free. And I stepped completely away at that point when he told me he was disappointed. I wanted to go, you gonna tell that to your soon-to-be champ that has the flu that when I covered him and did everything else I had to do? But I didn't. I kept my mouth shut. I had a concussion and didn't want to say anything that would upset him because I'm not mad at him. I'm disappointed in him for letting that slide. Because here's the worst part about it. I put over Ace. Guess who got released from WWE and came back and won the title instead of Ace? AG.
Yep.
Which led to Ace, I think, having an issue with Randy and leaving for a minute. Because he told Ace he was next in line. Because Ace was under the impression he was beating the streak and going on to win the belt. I remember because we had the conversation in the basement that day of that match. That's why he was winning. Because he was even wondering what's going to happen to me next because I had such momentum. But literally, I put all my momentum on Ace, and Ace didn't get the belt. AG got released, came back, won the belt, which is smart business.
Yeah.
Because no one saw that coming, and that was hot fire. But I got, in my brain, I'm disappointed in how I was treated. I was in the best shape, losing a ton of weight. My matches were hot fire. I was fucking trending with shit. I was I had never done podcasts before. I was doing podcasts with other people. I had a bunch of shit going for me. And I thought we should be riding this fire. And nope. And instead, I got a concussion and told my match was disappointing when I literally did everything I could to carry it. That's what made me hate wrestling and want to leave it. Because that's when I realized at that point in time, I was never going to wrestle in Yarmouth. I was never going to be featured big anywhere on a Limitless show after that. When I lost to Ace, I lost essentially any leverage to put me in any big spots.
Yeah. Shit.
Do you feel
Tell me
like
if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Do you feel like if the table spot would have gone right, that it would have been different?
Yeah, because Ace would have pulled himself out of the wreckage and then declared the winner. Like, if I would have laid there, you would have seen me moving toward the ring and then not get up. But Ace pulls himself up after going through the table. It's a big hero moment.
Right.
Steering me through a fucking table on the floor. Big hero badass moment. And because the table did not break in the way it went, I'm pretty sure if that had been the finish and it went right, we would have a different conversation. Because the reaction would have been the payoff.
Yeah.
But I can't always make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yeah, you can only do so much with what you're given.
Yeah. So, and it is what it is. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'll never, I've already come to terms with not like, there's a glass ceiling and everywhere you go.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, no matter what you do, like there's a glass ceiling. No matter how much you want something, unless someone gives you a chance. So my idea was I was in the best shape of my life. I was going to make a fucking run for it with the streak and everything going on. And I was hot fire. I was going to make a run for that shit. Wrestling wise, like maybe this is my chance to make a run for it again. Because I was getting a lot of attention, getting a lot of bookings. Everything was great. And then that moment happened and it was like a complete fucking blackout. As soon as I lost. So that's why I stepped away from wrestling. And then I hear everybody say, "Oh, we miss you." And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I feel like I was wronged and I never got anything out of it. And no one ever reached out to ask me. So, including Randy.
Wow. Yeah, I never knew that part at all.
Yep, for months. I didn't hear nothing from him. Didn't hear anything from anybody. I needed a promoter. After I lost, it was a total blackout.
Yeah, I was basically gone as well, just because of family stuff and other things going on in my life. So, like when I came back, you were already back. So it's like, oh hey, like I didn't even.
Yeah,
know
I was good. I was gone for like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah,
and which is weird because I went from being on every fucking show, being booked everywhere, and being like a top guy on every fucking card to nothing, all in a hot minute. As soon as I lost, it was like total blackout. Which is sad because I thought I was valued more than that. Now it's the exact opposite. Now I can't stop getting bookings. Everybody books me. Even got promoters begging me to do my old gimmicks and paying me extra money. Bell to bell promotions. Anyway.
Well, I was just literally just gonna say on that sad note, you did get an opportunity for the Limitless, not Limitless, Let's Wrestle Championship, and won that night. Do you want to explain like the situation around that?
2 shots. The first one I lost.
Right, the first
BRG,
one you lost.
BRG beat me, but it's because of Mac Daniels by accident.
Right.
Mac Daniels was trying to hit BRG with the belt, hit me. BRG had a moment to decide whether he was going to get caught with the belt and maybe get disqualified or pin me and chuck the belt out of the ring. And he chose to pin me. So that was the first match. So I do the story with Mac to get my revenge, come back to BRG. So we had 3 stories going on because obviously BRG and Mac have history because of the group. Because they were in a group with Alba and all that stuff. And then me and Mac had a story going too. Because he's the big young new guy who was champion, and I'm the old guy that he avoided during everything, including the streak. Anyway. And due to my quad tear, I just came back from my quad tear. So it was a big comeback story.
Right.
So anyway, lose the BRG, do the story with Mac, put Mac, which I muscle one of Mac's last matches. He hasn't wrestled since then.
I know he's doing cross country now, I think.
Yeah.
Looking at his Instagram.
Yeah, he the lumberjack match was like his last match.
Yeah.
Which was a great match. That match was fire.
Yeah.
So and then that leads me back to BRG, getting my rematch. And the match happens. We do the spot where I blow out my knee. And I, keep going, even though Greenleaf doesn't want to let me keep going, but I keep going.
Question about that though. Did you might have been like kayfabe me, but I could have sworn you actually said you actually did pop out your knee in that match.
That was me working the boys again.
Yeah, you working
With me, Randy. Only people that knew were me, Randy, BRG, Greenleaf, and my son. So my son got involved later because he was in the audience too. So got him involved. So
I believed you.
So yeah, everybody did. Everybody thought I blew out my knee, which is possible because I just came back from a quad tear. So it looked like I blew out my leg. And I popped it back in and kept going. And I gutted it out. And right when BRG's feeling sympathetic, I was outsmarted him and I got the pin. And he gets mad. And he tries to take it out on me. And my son tries to get in between us. And he tries to take it out on my son, which led to the unexpected story of Ethan getting involved, manning up and saying, "You don't touch a fucking kid. That's fucked up shit." Like he was being a man. Like that was cool. Unexpectedly getting over. People did not like. I thought the spot where BRG going after my son, who was like a teenager, but it got super heat. It was more so that he went after Ethan was standing up and being a man and standing up for the kid and be like, "You don't touch a kid. You don't do that. That's messed up." And because he did that, BRG super kicked him, and everything went on Ethan. I said, "Well, let's take advantage of this situation. If Ethan's going to get the heat, let's go. If he's going to get the attention, let's run with it." And that's why we're in with the Ethan angle, which led to me getting my title. Me eventually having the title rematch in the cage. We were supposed to have it in Brewer, so I'm champion right now. But BRG steals the belt because I'm hurt and all that shit, and all the shit with Ethan. And eventually I get the belt back one time. Like, I haven't lost it. I'm still a champ. I'm just not carrying it. BRG's carrying it around. BRG still went around to other shows and defended the title as champion, and I was the champion at the time.
Right. And I don't really like that type of the story because it kind of gets overlooked of you being the actual champion.
Yeah, you're not the only one, but I understood it as a heel standpoint.
Right.
I also understood it. I felt like I'm good enough to be the champion, but we're not going to give you the belt because we don't want to acknowledge it. It's what it felt like. So I was a champion, but I wasn't. So I was the champion. I beat him. He takes the belt, obviously, after super kicking Ethan, and he carries it essentially the entire time. I think one show I get it back for like one match to defend it, and then he steals it again. And then we were supposed to lead up to the big blow off, which was me and BRG in the cage in Brewer. Well, we all know what happened to the Brewer venue. It closed.
Right.
So it happened to close the month. We're doing the payoff with Ethan. Ethan gets to get his comeuppance, but obviously he loses the match for us because he's not a wrestler. He's partly trained wrestler / announcer. He's not a full competitor. But he got his cool hot moment. And I love doing that for him too, because it came full circle. I was his bully, and then I was a teacher first, then a bully to him, and then I brought him back into the game and gave him his spot. And of course, him being a man and standing up for my kid, I thought was a cool story too. But anyway, he loses. We lead into the next month where we have to do the match in Fairfield because we have no Brewer venue, and Herman wasn't available. Only thing that was available was Fairfield. It's got to be big enough to fit a cage. So Fairfield, we knew could fit a cage because I've done shows before there with a cage. So that was our option. And we were worried that fans wouldn't travel for that.
I'm awake.
We were afraid that fans weren't going to travel for the cage match with me and BRG. We're like, really? we got to do this payoff because Randy wanted to get this payoff in. It was also, if you remember, Levi Spade's last show in Maine.
Yep.
Yeah, so, that was the same show. I forgot about that.
That was why he really wanted to get this payoff, because otherwise all that buildup, everything, all the whole story we've done is for nothing. I also think secretly it was because he wanted to put the belt back on Brett. Legitimately, on paper, even though he already had the belt and had been defending it in other countries and other shit. I felt like, I think I probably had maybe like 20 minutes altogether where I got to hold the actual belt. Like I said, that one match and all that shit. Anyway, so you get to the show in Fairfield where it's the cage. This is actually Brett's first ever cage match. which I felt honored to because he came up to me and specifically said, "Hey, just want to let you know this is my first ever cage match out of all the things I've done in wrestling, and I'm happy it's with you because I feel safe with you and I know you know what you're doing."
That's cool.
That felt really cool. So, and we were both very worried that people weren't going to travel or people were going to leave because they literally saw a whole show of wrestling before they had an intermission.
Yeah.
And then the intermission, the fucking cage goes up.
Yeah, let's not talk about the setup of the cage. Jeez.
So we thought everybody would leave during the setup of the cage because they literally just saw 6 or 7 freaking matches.
Yeah.
Because it was like WrestleMania. I didn't understand it. So I'm thinking to myself, people are coming to see this cage match. And we have a WrestleMania sized roster of matches before it. And it's not like it's 4 or 5 matches. It's like 6 matches or so.
I can tell you right now.
It was a lot. I just remember it was a lot. And me and BRG were like heated because we're like, watch. They're going to watch all these matches and the match they paid to see, which was the fucking cage match. They're going to fucking leave. But you know what?
The amount of time that it took to put the cage up was more than double the amount of time that your entire match was.
Exactly.
Like
it was like over 20 minutes.
It doesn't go up easy.
And Larry was so adamant that we're gonna have this cage up in X amount of time.
He said 20 minutes, and I said 30.
Way longer than that.
I said 30. He said 20.
As somebody that was literally there to help set up.
It was close. It was closer to mine than his. He said 20, and I said 30. And he said, "No, we're going to get it up in 20 minutes." I said 30 because you have to tighten it. The part sliding the pieces on is not the hard part. The part is tightening every fucking spot so it doesn't fall apart.
There was a time
I
when
knew.
we're all sitting there, we're all looking up, and we're like,
Huh?
"Hey, time's ticking away." Like we're like looking up at Larry as he's like tightening shit away, and we're like, "Okay, we're wasting too much time." Like.
It's
you guys did the
so,
match, and we're like,
and that's the thing because if they had let's say they had like 4 matches, maybe 5, and then intermission, it'd been fine. But there was like 7 matches, 6 or 7 matches, and then intermission.
Oh, there was a pre-show. Yeah, so there was a pre-show
Mhm.
and then 6 matches.
7 matches, as I said.
Yeah.
Wasn't the
Then
pre-show
an
day
intermission.
even-
Then an intermission. So they literally saw an entire show before the cage match went on.
Yeah.
And me and Brett were just sweating it. We're like, dude, people are gonna fucking leave. We're about to go kill ourselves in this cage, and everybody's gonna fucking leave. I would like to think. I think like 10% of the crowd left. Not many people left, which I was thankful for. I was so thankful for.
Yeah, it was a good match too. It was really
Yeah,
good.
it was really good. We worked that cage, but the cage is limited because it's old and there's only. And then I'm a big dude. I don't want to break it and then have to pay for fucking Larry's cage and have him be pissed
I
off
don't
at
want to
me.
know how much that fucking cost.
Yeah. So
This is also Larry we're talking about.
it was like $1,000 probably.
so
You probably charged
we
3.
had a great match, and then obviously the finish was Brett was going over, which I had a feeling was going to happen. I thought the payoff should have been I was going over, and
Is
that
that
the
what
belt
Jason
finally get.
interference?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I thought the story would have been better if I would have went over and finally get my payoff because I never got to really have the belt. But they wanted Brett over because he had plans for Brett, and I said, okay, cool, no problem. And Brett's also an MLW guy, so he's got
And how did
some
that turn
name clout. Well, and then so I had pitched because originally Randy wasn't coming back to Fairfield. When he pitched that Brett was going over, we also had that little side story where Jason was like once with Brett and then he was against Brett, and now he was like in the middle. And I said, "This is your chance to build a big baby face because Maverick's from Fairfield. It's his hometown. Like, why not? Why don't you have him come make the save for me? So if you're not going to put me over, you got to build up another baby face to face Brett." Little did I know he already had plans for Brett after that, which is obviously unifying the belts and all that shit. But I said, this is what you should do. You can make money off this hometown kid coming out, standing up for the old guy that used to be friends with his dad. One of the guys that helped train him. Like, there's a good story here.
The best match of Jason's career. That
Yeah.
was the best match. VRG match.
And it paid off. Jason came out. He did the promo. I even put him over on the mic. I put him over. We pushed him to the moon. And he drew everybody back for that show. Everybody that was at the cage match show, same crowd came back for Jason versus Brett. And the match was fire.
It was. It was.
And I'm happy we were able to do that, because after that, the title was thrown to be gone because he unified it with the Limitless belt. Channing, we're going back to that group again. Channing versus Brett. And then they got rid of the belt.
So it is a unified. There's no more Let's Wrestle Championship. It's just a Limitless now.
Pretty sure. Have you seen it since?
No, that was my question. Like that, I even asked this in the group chat. Like, don't you think it's weird that Channing isn't walking out with the Let's belt?
He's gone.
He'd be walking out with
for the tag belts. The tag belts are gone too. We know that. Last Milford show, they were unified.
With the MEW. So is the MEW title becoming kind of the Let's title? Is that what's going on here?
They're gone because that's all another. There's no all another story with that.
Larry, count. Oh, the boots outside. I count.
Do you have a dream promotion that you'd like to work for? Whether it be like TV wise or like MLW comes to the top of my mind right now, just off the top of my head, like something like that. Dream promotion that, like, before you call it quits, hang up the boots kind of thing, you want to be able to say, like, I did something for X, Y, and Z.
Well, I mean, for the sake of ego, you know, I've said this for a long time. Whenever you ask anyone, "Oh, what got you into wrestling?" You know, people try to tell you some heartfelt story about, like, "Oh, me and my dad bonded over it," or "My grandma used to take me to the mat." No, it's ego. If those other things were your reason, you'd still just be buying a ticket. But you wanted to be part of the show. You wanted that attention. It's ego. We're all here for ego, and I'm A-okay with that. Ego-wise, I think my answer is I want to do something on TV, probably for AEW is probably the best shot that I would have. Just to say, because, and this may sound crazy because at 16 and a half years in, having traveled, I've wrestled in every time zone. I've wrestled in 4 countries. You know, I've never done national television. Like, I've never done extra work for WWE or AEW or TNA or any of them. I just never pulled the trigger on doing it. You know, always felt like, oh, I'm not ready, or, you know, oh, the person I knew who was the contact isn't there anymore. You know, it was always like things didn't line up. I'd like to do that at least once, just to stroke my ego so that I'd have that picture, that clip forever. But if I'm like looking deep within to like what would have like meaning to me, there's 2 answers and they're both in Japan. The first is Pro Wrestling Noah. I spent so much time watching Noah when I was in college. Those Kobashi matches that were all happening right then were a huge part of me actually following through and going to wrestling training when I got out of college instead of, you know, letting a dream slowly die. And then the other one is Osaka Pro, a big comedy promotion in Japan, and they were the thing that made it acceptable to my college friends that we watched wrestling. I ran with a circle that was not quite as interested in what I lovingly refer to as the redneck arts as I am. You know, monster trucks and pro wrestling. It's kind of the redneck arts. But, you know, I come from a musical theater and band geek background, and not all of those kids are super into that. So for them, though, Osaka Pro, that was comedy and very colorful characters and with very little pretense put on it about, like, we're athletes trying to win a match, and a lot more, we're using this form to get our jokes out to the world. Being able to work there would be huge. And I have worked with a couple like legends from Osaka Pro now that I work at Kyushu. I had a singles match with Naoki Sakurajima, and that blew my mind when I found out I was getting that match, because I watched his matches on YouTube like a couple times a week when I was in college and before I'd ever set foot in a ring. So that was pretty cool.
So I just want to divulge a little bit. I know that we're kind of coming on down to the wire here, and I don't want to keep you all night, but you have done a tour over in Japan, and me just being me and being curious about it, because Japan is on my bucket list of places that I would love to say that I got to travel and wrestle in. What was, I think I've actually talked to you a little bit like off camera behind the scenes about this, but could you divulge a little bit into what was like the experience like when you did your tour over in Japan?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. There's really two halves to the time I was over there. There's the day to day, and there was like the experience of the shows. Shows was a very different experience. I'm sure this is partly the language barrier that existed, although a lot of that goes away when you start talking how to put a match together because the words are all the same to everybody. But the Japanese really don't talk a whole lot about the matches beforehand. Everyone's, putting the show together, and then they're stretching out, they're getting their warm-up done, they're putting their gear on, and really it's not until everyone's fully in gear that a conversation happens about what the match should be. And that happens backstage, never in the ring. They don't run through anything. They are all backstage. The fans are already coming in, and then they come up and they say, all right, I was thinking we might try this. Did you have any ideas? Maybe we do that. And that's when that conversation happens, which is really different from a lot of what you run into out here where, right. Occasionally I have opponents messaging me, in advance of the day with ideas. Or, I show up and my opponent's in the ring already in workout gear and says, hey, as soon as you're ready, I got some stuff I wanted to run through. And I think you'll see a bit of that with me and Rip these days. A little of it carried over from Japan where, like, unless we have something we really want to try out, it's very rare that we want to hop in the ring and try to run through anything anymore. We kind of just tell guys, like, you know what you're doing. Like, the running through it, yes, it's a comfort, right?
Right.
But it's not necessary. Like, you know what you're doing. You know that if I say I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. You know exactly where you need to be for those things. We don't have to walk through it.
Yeah.
And obviously there's exceptions to that rule, but like generally speaking, when you're working with another professional on a show, treat them like a professional. You don't have to hold their hand through everything.
Right.
That to me was the most interesting thing about the shows was just how the performers treated the show day. It was a work day to them. They took it very seriously, but like they also understood we're all professionals. We don't need to do this. We don't have to obsess over this match because if this match goes poorly, which it won't, if it goes poorly, we've got another 3 this weekend. And I think that's a huge difference when you meet someone who works twice a month, once a month. They treat these matches like a very big deal because it's their only chance to get in front of a crowd that month. And I understand that, but when you reach a certain level or you have a certain opportunity ahead of you like those guys do, it's hard to treat every single one like a special little perfect snowflake of a match.
Yeah.
I know personally when it comes to matches now, I know I've only been in for a few years as opposed to like a lot of other folks. I've gotten to the point where I try to be a little bit like that, where I'm just kind of like, if we go out in the match, something explodes in the match, and it's not what you thought it was going to be, you walk out back, and you kind of, I've always gotten to where I look at my opponents, I'm like, did anyone get hurt? No. Do we have fun? Yeah. Did the crowd know we screwed up? No. Then what do we care?
Right.
I mean, I've for quite a while now kind of understood that, like, if something doesn't work, like if all of a sudden something starts to get messed up, it's super easy to snatch your opponent, grab them in a hold, reset for a second.
Yeah, right.
Like all that looks like it, to the casual observer who's looking at it as a fight, that's what you would do in a fight if things start to break down, is you might try to grab a hold of them to keep them from hitting you. And in reality, that's kind of what we're doing.
Right.
But that's for Japan, that was, one of the things that really stood out to me about show days was they treated the event like it was special, but the match like it was just checking into another day at work. As far as the day-to-day, man, You talk about simultaneously intense and not at all intense. It was every day I'm up at 8. I would have breakfast in the dorm. I can even talk about the foods if you want to know what the foods were. It's not that
Yes.
interesting. I mean, it might be to someone who hasn't been there, but I
I've never been there.
experienced it
It's
for 90
interesting.
something days. So every day I would wake up, go to the rice cooker that was always full, always had rice in it hot, scoop out a bowl of rice, drop a can of tuna on top, a small squirt of Kewpie mayo, boom, instant breakfast. Wolf that down with some
Sounds delicious, actually.
god awful instant coffee because that's what they had. Start the 1.5 mile walk to the dojo. Usually on the way, I would stop into the 7-Eleven and grab either an energy drink or if I was hungry, I would get one of the egg salad sandwiches. Unbelievable egg salad sandwiches at all the conveniences in Japan. Seriously, there's whole TikToks around it. You should look them up. It's incredible. I'd have that, go to the dojo. We would train for 2 hours, which was intense. I think 3 of you were present for when I ran you through what we called the warm-up. That was
I showed up
always
late.
the first half.
I showed up late, but
Yeah, that warm-up was the first half of our training morning. Then we would do the in-ring stuff.
I love showing up and it's just everybody's fucking dead. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. It's like,
a good time. I can, I can show you. Are you going to be at Limitless on Sunday?
I want to, but I don't think I'm going to be just because my wife has to work.
I'm trying to get out of it, guys. He's making
no. I've already talked about this before you got jumped on.
No, I heard.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
We would do the hour-long warm-up, and then an hour of in-ring that was pretty intense. We would all break and have water for 15 minutes, and the trainers would usually be wrapping up and telling jokes and putting their shoes on and leaving. But often what would happen, especially with Mentai Kid, Sakurajima, and Tajiri, when they saw me and Jet Wee and Rip Bison slide back in the ring after 15 minutes to do the entire Tajiri workout again, because he insisted that we had to do it every single day, and doing it at training didn't count. We would slide back in to do it right then. So we would do another hour-long workout. When those trainers saw it, that was it. The shirts came off and they slid in and they joined in and did the entire workout with us. And those are guys all in their late 40s, early 50s.
Wow.
Which meant I had no excuse at my age to be dogging it. So we would do that. We'd call it. We'd go to walk home. On the way, we would eat something at the 7-Eleven. For me, they had these killer chicken skewers that were just outstanding. Rip would often do an egg salad sandwich then, or sometimes it was inverted. One of us would get the other. Get that for the 1.5 mile walk back to the dorm. Get to the dorm, we'd do Gaijin lunch. Gaijin lunch, either me or Rip would cook, but we would make a double helping and each take half. It was rice with chicken and pork belly and a bag of frozen veggies all stir fried up just as quick as we could cook it. Scarf that down. No break, because a 1.5 mile walk is plenty of break. We'd walk to the gym, never together. Like the first 2 days we walked together. The rest of the time we walked separate, which sometimes meant we'd be like a block away from each other with our headphones on, walking the same exact route to the gym. Walk 1.5 miles to the gym, go lift for an hour, 1.5 miles back. I'd have a protein, I had the protein powder at the dorm, and I would pack my shake before I went. Have that on the walk back. Get back, we would do Gaijin dinner, which is just Gaijin lunch again. Which is a big meal. I mean, I'm really not, I don't know how to do it justice, but the bowl and the food on top of it, if you think like a large cantaloupe of meat and rice, that's about the size of it. Eat that, and maybe 15 minutes after finishing that, either me or Rip would find the other and go, "Conveni?" Because we'd already be hungry again. And we would walk it's like a 1/4 mile, maybe a 1/2 mile, to one of the we had 3 convenies equidistant from the dorm, so we would just kind of rotate which one we went to at a given trip, and we would load up a pile of food. Usually it was like they had like pre-cooked chicken breasts and pre-cooked fish and all these different things. We would just grab a whole bunch of the stuff that we wouldn't have to do anything to, bring it back in a great big pile, and just sit there scarfing it all down with Jet Wee while we watched wrestling all night, doing tape study. And then we would finally go to sleep and wake up and do it all over the next day. I mean, in a lot of ways it was, right? It was 100% living like the dream of being a wrestler. I didn't have to go to like some day job I hated. I didn't have to do yard work. I didn't have to fix anything. That's not true. I did fix a couple things that were broken in the house, but look at me. I'm this nerd approaching 40. Right. Yeah, if I see a hinge that's out of sorts on a door, I'm going to find a screwdriver. That said, I didn't have to do that stuff. There weren't like really, other than getting your laundry done, there wasn't chores to do. So like it was wake up, work out some more, eat until you're like blue in the face, work out a little more, eat a lot more food, then walk somewhere and get more food so you can eat it, then watch wrestling. That was basically the day-to-day in Japan. Occasionally we had like proper days off. If we had a show on a Sunday, Monday training would be off because they were like, you just wrestled the day before, no training. And if that was the case, we would still do our gym workout. Often we would still go to the dojo and do the Tajiri workout. But that left a gap in the day. So like there were times where I could go hop the train and go into the city and actually like see stuff. So, we had some cool experiences like that. We got to see Godzilla on opening weekend in Japan. That was pretty awesome.
I remember Rip mentioning that, yeah.
I got to go to the Sumo World Grand Championships, came through Fukuoka, and I went, it was like an 18-day tournament. I went on day like 16. I was the only one of the gaijin to go. Everyone else bailed, but it was like $15 after fees, and it was a whole day of sumo matches. Pretty amazing. Got to see, we got to see other wrestling while we were there. We went to a Marvelous show, a Noah show, and a New Japan show. Got to catch up with AG. I got to see my buddy Vinny Massaro, who was over there working for Marvelous at the time. And we also, like one of the last nights I think it was the last night we were there, we went to the New Japan show. It was the Tag World Finals. And at the end, Chikuzan, the owner of Kyushu, said, "Oh, come with me." And we thought we were leaving. We thought he was like, "Yeah, let's beat the traffic. The finals are over. Let's get out of here." And he just marched us. You can see us on the video of the event. You could see us and Chikuzan just walk up and go right through the entryway to go backstage. And he says, "I want you to meet a friend of mine." And then we're like, "Oh, okay." And he disappears around a corner. A second later, he comes back with Tanahashi. It's like an old friend of his he trained with. This was like 4 days before Tanahashi was announced as the new president of New Japan.
Oh my!
So that was pretty cool. That was like
awesome.
That's that really was cool. Like one of the Rip and I were talking about it after. It's one of the only times for either of us that we've truly been starstruck in wrestling, because we weren't expecting it. And I mean, it's Tanahashi. This guy's got more main events in the Tokyo Dome in the last decade than like most people will have in a lifetime.
Right.
And no matter what he does, tying the hair back, wearing a suit, whatever he changes, he still looks like Tanahashi.
Yeah.
When he comes around the corner, the two of us just like kind of looked at each other real quick, and then we're just trying to like, how do we act cool right now? And we look over at Jet Wee, and he is just not covering it at all. He's standing like this. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Shit.
I made a lot of cool friends over there, and at some point I will be back, but not anytime right away. I got stuff in my homestead and my life to do here.
Yeah.
You want to spit on me, motherfucker?
The only time I ever went to Tim Hortons was in Maine. It was Torah Savoldi and those NWA on Fire tours were just they were something else. But I didn't. So the Savoldis would always room like 6 people together. It was miserable. So I found the ultimate hack on those shows, which was travel with Rick Fuller. Rick Fuller got his own room. So I got to stay with Rick Fuller. He got a double bed, and I would stay with Rick Fuller, and it was awesome. But there was one night we're looking for something. We stop at a Tim Hortons. I'd never had it, and it's downpouring rain. And he looks at me and he goes, a young boy would have gone and gotten the car for me. And I look at him and I run out to the car. I pull the car right up to the side door, and Rick Fuller gets in. He's like, "That's a good young boy." Okay. And yep. And that was it. Like, that's what you did. It's Rick Fuller gave me a room, and I didn't have to sleep with Jason Rumble. Like, it was awesome.
Probably a good thing.
Funny you mentioned that. When I first started, like a year into doing shows, I was going to New England Pro Wrestling Academy, and it would be like me, Tim Lennox, and like a few other guys, and we would drive from Massachusetts, and we would go all the way to Machias to wrestle, which is like the most coastal,
Machias, Maine, yeah.
And he would put all of us in like a 2-bedroom like motel in the middle of nowhere, 5 minutes from the venue, and we did that for like a year straight, and I was just like, all right, this is getting a little crazy.
Yeah, like I had it good because A, I was with Fuller, and B, we only did the Savoldi was smart. He ran during school vacation.
Yeah.
So like he would run every single night. So you had 6 nights of working those tours like every night. We were like Indian Island, Machias. We were all over the place. And
Herman was smart.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing is, I haven't done those in years and years. So now when I do Herman, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, this is crazy. And still haven't seen a moose. Like, still have never seen a moose. They don't exist. Like, they're not real.
You're like all the Jersey boys that don't believe in the moose. They
don't.
Sammy Chaos. I've argued with her about it too.
Sammy Chaos, Pete Corvus.
All you gotta do, I'm not joking. Go up to Crown of Maine. Go up to a Crown of Maine show. You have to go up Route 11, but you got to go at dawn or dusk because that's when they're going to hang out on the side of the road. Usually, they like to lick the salt off the road or eating the buds off the trees.
Typically, when you see a moose, you don't really want to see the moose because you'll be driving. It's like
I want to see a moose.
I've only seen a moose once when I was like 10 or 11, and I wasn't even in Maine. I was going through the mountains in New Hampshire.
So there was evidently a few years ago a moose on my street. And my kid comes in and he's like, there's a moose on our street. I just drove by it. It's right outside. I'm like, okay, this is my moment. I'm going to see this moose. Let's go. I want to wrestle the moose. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this moose, but I want to see this moose. I go outside. The moose is completely gone. There's
Fucking
no one
disappeared.
there.
Yeah.
Good night, buddy. I love you. My kid's going to bed. He's naked, though. I'm a nudist. He's not really naked. Don't worry. He's not naked. April Fools. I'm the one not wearing pants.
I was actually kind of worried about that because I realized today was April 1st. I'm like, oh my God, I bet you he's fucking ribbing us. I bet he's fucking ribbing us and he's not going to actually be on.
You're such a
Not
big
for
name,
nothing.
too. So Kat texted earlier. He was like, I just realized it's April 1st. I really hope people don't think we're ribbing them about Sydney actually being on the show tonight and people actually show up to watch it.
Yes, hello, the folks that have showed up.
When
Hey,
I
we've been
came
sitting at
upstairs-
in between 7 and 10 for the past, like, this whole hour we've been live. So
Look at that. I'm a draw. Look at that.
are.
I'm
You
a
are.
huge draw. No, funny story. When I came upstairs to test all the equipment and everything else, I'm like, wouldn't it be the best April Fool's joke if I just went to bed right now? And Yeah, but no, because then I gotta see you guys at at Limitless, and then I'd feel like a jerk. So I
Like,
can't
City,
do
come
that.
on, brother.
Like,
Yeah,
hey,
come
buddy,
on, what
how's
are
it
you doing?
going?
Yeah, yeah.
Get
Can't do
cornered.
that.
Get cornered by all three of them. I'm like, hey,
hey.
Did you guys see that Ethan Scott is here?
I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, we saw
I
that.
think he's been here the whole
Ethan's-
time.
He's been watching the whole time. What a guy.
Ethan Scott. Do you know I kissed Ethan Scott on the mouth?
What?
Whoa.
No, I did not
Yeah,
know
the
that.
footage exists. It was the night Channing won the world title at the Vacation Land Cup a couple of years ago. So I do
Oh
this
god, I
thing.
gotta find it now.
You can't. It's not out there. Harry has it.
Oh, I
It's
thought
on
you did
IWTV?
No. Like it was just like an edit because no one knew what I was gonna do except me. So I do this thing where I call Ethan Scott Sam Laterna, and I call Sam Laterna Ethan Scott. Like I'll look at Sam Laterna and just go, Ethan Scott, you need to shave your face. And yeah, it's great. So Sam Laterna, I'm so happy right now. I could kiss you, and I grab Ethan Scott and I just kiss him right on the lips. And that was it.
That's fucking amazing.
Was that during the live show?
No, it was during
Backstage
the
interview?
backstage promo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was during the live show that you caught it. Like,
No, because I would have seen that.
Yeah.
I
I've been
would have seen that. Because it's so funny because when I think to Limitless stuff, I've never gotten the chance to work Limitless, but
I want to know who the other two people are because
Yeah,
Ethan
please
Scott's
Zach,
kind of a
I'll tell
whore.
the
I
story.
think
Zach
like
Berg might have been
Alexander
one of
Lee
them.
is probably one of them.
Ethan Scott is a whore.
You guys notice how he didn't switch the names on that one because he